Hi everybody, it's Stuart here again. It's good to be back. I hope you're all well, and I hope you're all here at the right time because obviously the clocks have changed. So there's quite a few. Well, there's actually not that many in here today. So perhaps people got caught up by the hour. But let's get going anyway. So welcome everybody. Today it's all about live analysis. Usual admin before we get going. Any issues you have with the the software, try restarting it at your end, check your own device. Any questions that I don't answer, or you want something more personal, or you got something you want me to ask, email me at webinars@hotforex.com and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you, Charles. Welcome. And remember, trading and trading Forex is particularly, in particular, is risky. So make sure you understand and read the disclaimer here. Excuse me. Okay, so this is me. Those of you that are new, my name's Stuart. I'm one of the analysts here at HotForex. I've been trading. My background's in the City of London. I've been trading and investing since 1997, 21 years now. And my 3 or 4 mantras are really: if it's probable, I take the trade. I do it. I try to keep things as simple as possible. And I look at multiple timeframes, and for me, with my own cash, is on the daily timeframes where most of my trades take place. But the most important thing is that one there, number 4. You need to know yourself. And tomorrow's webinar, if you only watch or come to one of my webinars, come tomorrow, because it's all about mindset. It's all about knowing yourself, and that's really what the secret. There isn't a secret, but that's what all successful traders, people that make have a long career in this business, will talk about. It's about knowing yourself, accepting losing, risk management, more importantly, keeping your losses small. All the very boring stuff, but that's what keeps you in business, and that's what keeps you going month in, month out. So all on that tomorrow. Today it's all about the news and live analysis. I've got there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, about 12, 13 assets you've asked me to have a look at. Any others you want me to have a look at? Anything at all? Please put it in the box there, and we'll have a look at it as we go through today. So very busy week this week. It's the end of the month. So obviously the key event is Friday here, the non-farm payroll. Non-farm payroll, NFP, expected to come in about 190,000. So the amount of jobs the American economy is making is probably always the most important data point that comes out each month. But the other key one is this one here, the average hourly earnings. The number of jobs that are created for months and months hadn't really been filtering through to increasing wages. Eddie, yes, we can certainly have a look at the Swissy, no problem there. It's on the list already, I think, actually. Yes, dollar Swiss. So 3% is pretty good. If it holds up this month, that'll be more boost for the dollar, more boost for the US economy in general. But so a big key event on Monday. On Friday. I'm going about this backwards. Remember, also on Friday, the Canadian government issued their jobs number as well, and employment change as well. So the dollar CAD at 1300 as it is now, 1330 server time. Not 15:30 anymore, because we're an hour different to the North America at the moment. So dollar CAD can be quite a mover at that when that time kicks off as well. But before that, we had an interesting day yesterday. The core CPE yesterday for the US came in more or less bang in line. GDP has just come out for the euro area, and it's missed expectations. It came in at 0.2%, 0.4% was expected today. So euro's under pressure. The dollar remains very well bid at the moment. We'll come on to that when we actually look at the charts. Tomorrow, final trading day of a very volatile October month, but there's been some very strong trends running. And if you've managed to have a look at the PDF that I've attached to the webinar there, hopefully you've all had a look at that. Can somebody just say that you've managed to open it? Because last time, lots of you were having problems opening the PDF. So hopefully you've managed to download it. And hopefully you can make sense of what's written there. There's 27, 28 37, 38 assets I trade, and it's just where they are as of Friday. I can hear nothing. Sabuzu can't hear me. Is that correct? Hopefully, can you hear me? I cannot hear me. Somebody can't hear me. Can you all hear me? Those of you. Okay, let me just send him a message. Yes, a lot of you can. Yes, everybody's saying they can, so it must be just Sabuzu. Let me just send this guy a quick message while I see if I can type and talk at the same time. So big important day tomorrow. It's the Bank of Japan is the headline, and it obviously, remember, it's the end of the month, so there's lots of balancing up with lots of accounts, and dollar seems to be under that, getting some bid into the end of the month as well. And then on Thursday, it's Super Thursday, as they call it now, of the UK. Everyone else is okay. So try restarting. So the thing that's normally that would be quite important, or potentially it could still be very significant for the pound on Thursday. But the key thing that's hanging over the pound at the moment is the Brexit issue. And Mrs. May's just said, just before we started the webinar, saying that she is not planning for a general election. So you know, when a prime minister says that, or a politician says that, you can be damn sure that they probably are. They probably are. So lots of uncertainty surrounding the pound, all over Brexit, and it's putting pressure on the pound. As we see on our chart, the pound's been very much under pressure. If you look at that spreadsheet you guys have got there, you can see, if you look at the pound crosses, pound is short against pound CAD short, pound Swiss short, pound yen short times twice, pound New Zealand short, pound dollar short, all pressure on the pound there. So you can see that that's a trend that's running out there. So yeah, busy week, lots of opportunities, very significant week as far as data is concerned. So we're into the end of October, new month starts with NFP on Friday. So busy time, opportunities all over the place, really. Next week is quite significant as well. Not as busy as this week. We've got the Central Bank of Australia, the RBA, with their rate announcement. Again, no change expected from either the RBA or the RBNZ on Wednesday next week as well. And then the big highlight of the week is obviously the Fed's announcement on the 8th. And we've got some GDP out of the UK on next Friday the 9th. So November kicks off with some very significant data as well. And obviously, politically, we have this Tuesday the 6th. Next Tuesday, we've got these midterm elections within the US. So by Wednesday the 7th, we'll have some idea what the new Senate and the House looks like in the US. So quite a significant political issue next week as well as these key economic data releases as well. Okay, so any particular questions about the news before we continue? No. Okay, so I'd say, well, let your trend be a friend. This is just a chart of the PDF that's attached. So all this is saying is, when these particular assets here all they've moved in sort of significantly. So here's, for instance, Aussie CAD. It really has been short from the 23rd of October, and that's when it actually continued. Aussie Swiss here, I'm not going to run through all these, but just to explain it. So that's a continuation trade for me on the 22nd, and the target was 50% of the ATR because it was returned back to trend. This one here, Aussie yen, that just means the daily, the weekly, the monthly, all in a line. So they're all, as of the 22nd of October, all three of these higher time frames are all short, basically. So that was a short trade. WHT means with the higher trend. So on the 25th of October, the Aussie New Zealand actually turned long. So it went up. So it just shows how weak the New Zealand's been. If you can see here, the Aussie here, see the main Aussie crosses are all short, but it's gone up against the New Zealand dollar. So that suggests maybe the New Zealand dollar may be even weaker. But, that was the 25th. I think it's flipped back down again since. So that's what all these different words mean. That's just what's happened and the trends that are established. And I say some of these trends have been going a long time, like this one here. Swiss yen has been short. It's been under its 20-period moving average for a long time, and it's been 27th of September it went down against the higher trend AHT, but it's been down ever since. Euro yen, same thing, 28th of September. So this was with the trend, with the higher trend. So daily, weekly, monthly, all nicely, all now aligned, and euro yen has been down and moved down very aggressively since the 28th of September. So that's all this sort of sheet. Same with some of the stock market. So you can see here, see how these trends continue. So here, if you look at the euro ones, you see the euro's under pressure against all its crosses here. So it's short against all these. Pound is short against most of its crosses here. See pound, 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 all short. Stock markets all started short. The USA, the USA 30, US 500, UK 100. There's some of the one that was short from the second. So you tend to see these clusterings of trend. There you go, New Zealand short there as well. So lots and lots of shorts in here, isn't there? Oil short, silver and gold sort of flipped long on the 11th. There's no trades there, but they flipped up on that significant date. So I'd say we can give you this once a week. It's not advice. It's not guidance or anything like that. It's just purely what's happening technically, that we're actually back over the key 20 period moving average on all of these particular crosses. Okay, so as I say, let the trend be your friend. I say it all the time. That's not quite strictly true. 18 is strong trends. There's quite a few of those. But trends can be, as Jack Schwartz has written here, it's no single path in trade. Some will find it in the monthly and the weekly charts, others in the 1 minute charts. That you find the thing that works for you, and that's the most important thing. We'll talk more about that in much more detail tomorrow. And as like Marty Schwartz says, the pit bull. Successful traders find a methodology that fits their personality and their belief pattern. Some are big fundamental traders, others are very technical traders, but that's really, you got to find something that works for you. So let's bring in the charts. I won't go through all of those 38.7 currencies unless you want me to. I'm happy to do that. But let me go through the ones that you've specifically asked me to have a look at, and then any others that you stick in the box today. I say there's not that many of you in today. I guess a lot of you have forgotten that the time has changed. So any questions, and we'll go through them. So let me just go through them in order as you've asked for me to have a look at them. So let's start with first one was the euro crosses. Somebody asked me to have a look at all the euro crosses, so you'll see what we're talking about a minute ago. So here are the main euro crosses. So let's just start with euro Oz as we go through them in order. So again, hopefully you can see all that. I can't actually see what you're seeing. Let me just take some of these lines off because there's lots of lines on here now. Just doing it lines a bit stressy. That's not worked. Okay. So let's bring that up as well. So where are we? So Euro Oz is Euro Oz has been short from the 12th of October, 19th it turned true. So it's 9 days it's been under its 20 period. So here was the last time it ticked under the 20 period here on the 18th of October, and it's ticked down, and it's had a big sell-off. It's having a bad day today as well. So can I zoom that up a bit so you can see it? So it was last under its 20 period here, and so all these days we've been under this 20 period, under the 50 period now as of Thursday last week. Big tall wick on Friday. So this trend is very much now topped out up here, moving down quite nicely. There we go, a little trend line there. We've hit it there once, twice, three times. So that continues to. So next support is obviously here at 159.670, which is must have been a stop loss when we were going long, I think. Yeah, there we go. It was the bottom of this last move here. So this keeps moving down, and this is obviously next support. And then the next support is obviously this trend line from this great blue line here, and the 200 period down here at 158.40. So Euro Oz remains short there. Euro CAD also short, and it's been under its 20 period. It went under there 16th. It spiked up the day before, and then last week again it came back down. So again, this downtrend is very much intact from this top here. Got to say that it's all. See how it broke over it there. If we established our little trend there, but didn't hold it one day, and then the next day it was back under. So we're back under the trend line. We're back going down. We're back under the 20 period. The 50 period isn't actually on here, but you can see our next support again is probably this psychological 148 level here, this floor here, if we remain under this 20 period. So again, Euro CAD looking quite short. Okay, let's have a look.
Let's see if there's any more. No questions coming in. Okay, so that's Euro CAD also remains short. Euro Swiss. Ironic, this one's been, let me just double check Euro Swiss on my sheet. Again, that was a short from the 17th, that's turned around, but it was long here. This is the 24th September, so it ran long, ran in through the 50 period, once it got over the 20 period, ran into the 200 period, but couldn't break there. So we went sideways for about a week or so, and then it turned short, and then it's broken under, actually closed under that day. That was just last week, wasn't it? The 23rd, it actually closed under the 20 period. Still looking quite bullish because we were this floor here. We've got this sort of trend line there from there. It was still holding it, even though it had broken on us, but the key day was probably that day. So it's tested that. It's gone under the 20 and the 50, but it's perhaps put some sort of floor in here. So if this is Euro Swiss, so if Euro Swiss breaks over this line here, this midpoint of the Bollinger Band there, that could take it longer. So 114.15 zone needs to break over here and back over this line to take us back up net, but it needs to then break 114.95 key 115 level. It's going to take it further to the south, to the north, but there doesn't seem to be much action to take this much lower from here. So a bit of a sideways action there for Euro Swiss at the moment. Right, I've got a couple of questions here. What is the time frame on this chart? These are all Anton, these are all daily time frames. Okay, we're going to start the daily time frame and drill down to the shorter time frames if you like later on. Lakshay, what type of an indicator is ATR? The average true range is really some charting packages call it a trend, others call it an oscillator. It's really it's a bit of both, but in the insert, let me show you. In the MT4 platform, you can see it actually comes under the oscillator brand. Some call it's a momentum, it's a trend as well, but it's as far as the MT4 platform is concerned, Lakshay, if you're trying to find it, it's under the oscillator range of things. So that's what it's doing. It's measuring the volatility of each day, the high and the low, how far the price has moved. So that's why it's stuck under the oscillator range here, and I use that as generating targets typically. How do I cultivate the virtue of patience in Forex trading? Most times I see myself executed that's yet to mature. Raymond, it's all about the time frames, okay? We'll talk about it more tomorrow, okay? And I'll drop you an email afterwards, okay? But patience is just something we have to try. As human beings, we are not designed to be patient, especially now in the 21st century. Everything's quick. We've got a very short attention span. We don't sit and read books anymore and all that sort of stuff. So it's just a mindset. You've got to be patient, whether you're trading, a 5-minute chart or a 1-minute candle or a daily time frame. It doesn't really matter. You still got to have patience. Obviously, if you're trading a daily time frame, your patience needs to last longer. But it's just as important as, say, when you're trading 5-minute charts. But that's your comment there saying, I find myself executing a trade that is yet to mature. You've got to make sure that, your system, it might be just the fact that your system's not working or your approach isn't working or it doesn't fit your personality. But whatever time frame you're trading, patience is quite important. There's a great book I'll talk about at the end might help you with that. It's it's a book by Mark Douglas called Trading in the Zone. It's a really, really good book. Does time frame affect the trends? Etienne, well, yes, it does. Obviously, the longer the trend is running in a daily time frame, it's more significant than in a 1 hour or a shorter time frame. So the higher the time frame, the more significant the resistance, the support, and the trend that's established. Just think about the logic of it. Nedson's asking, in MACD, we can see the histogram and a single line. Why can't we see the fast and slow moving lines at the same time? This MT4 platform, Nedson, if you want, we have a little executable. If you want the double-lined MACD, email support@hotforex.com, and it'll send you the new executable. This is this MACD setup here on this particular chart is just set up with as you say, the histogram and the signal line. Okay, but if you want the one with the 2 lines on it, email us and we'll send you a little. If you're a big MACD fan, use that. But again, here we still got this. You see here, the principle. I'm not going to trading with MACDs, but you see here we've crossed, not much action. We crossed the zero line and we were going up. So there we go. That was positive. Signal line was going up as we went up. And here, where the histogram is under the, excuse me, under the signal line as we start to drift down. So, you know, remember MACD is just one of many indicators you can use. But if you want the double signal, double line, fast and slow, medicine, please email and we'll send you. Okay. So Euro Swiss, not quite sure what's going on. Generally weak because we're under the 20 and the 50 period, the blue line here. But we're looking to try and get back in it. But at the moment, for the last 4 days, the 50 period has remained resistance, hasn't it? So we need to break this 114.15 level for Euro Swiss. Euro dollar, now this has been a big strong trend, you know, big strong short trend there. It broke under the 20 period and there's big sell off here on the 27th of September. So Euro dollar has been short in simple trending terms under its 20 period since the 27th of September. Okay, that's you know, 20 odd days, 22 trading days we've been short, we've been down, didn't break over it, went down again, and we're at, you know, we're at lows again. See how we've come back. So obviously the next support is this horrible thing we had in August, is sell off and then retrace. So that, I would guess, certainly this level here is being tested already this week on Friday, this 113.41. So I guess this one, the next level is really 113 now, comes certainly into play for euro dollar down here. This 130, this is 113.019, but you can see that this pressure remains to the downside. Obviously not going to go on forever. What's the weekly telling us? Well, the weekly is also weak as well. So the week is weak. And if that breaks that 113 level, where does that take us? Well, the next level on the higher time frames takes down to this bottom of these candles, doesn't it? There you go. You don't need to be a technical analyst to see that the next support sits there, and that comes in at 111.95. So 112, so 113, and then 112 is a key. This next zone, this is the next target zone for these guys that are short the euro dollar. But it needs to break this first, this 113 level first before that's going to come into play. But euro dollar remains weak and has done all of October. So it's been very simple for us trend traders. You know, it's been very simple. It's broken first entry there, and then it's just run off. It looked like it was going to, didn't reach, and off we went down again. Quite straightforward trend trading. Euro yen, again, similar thing here. We broke back here. This is the 8th, 7th and 8th, big significant day, the 8th of October. We ran right into the 200 period, and then we've broke under it, and then we broke down, and then we broke down again. So we're down here again. This is euro yen, remains weak. Looks like it may be trying to put in a bottom. Great big long wick on Friday, but remains short. It's under its 20 period, it's under its 50 period, it's under its 200 period. Aligned there, we got 200, 50, 20, all nicely aligned now. 20 crossing under the 200 and the 50 in a space of a couple of days. So that's a weak euro yen as well. Maybe this may be a flaw. That's one to watch. But 127. Where's that? That's 126.50, isn't it? Let's have a look at that. That's 126. It's spiked all the way down to 126, but the floor, the support, the closing candles around this level is at 127.50. So that becomes a key support level, 127.50 for euro yen. Euro New Zealand, same story. Even though the New Zealand's weak, as we mentioned earlier, we broke under the 20 period. Here we'd broken up, ran into the top here, ran into 78. I remember mentioning this a few weeks ago, and then we come down again, stalled at the 20 period as we came down, but then we broke through the following day, stalled at the 50 for a day or two, then we broke down again, and off we go down again. I don't know where the 200 is on this one. The 200 is all the way down here below S3 now, so it's weak. So we got 20, 50, and 200 providing support. So we may find some support here at this 173 level for Euro New Zealand, but it remains relatively weak, and the trend remains in the downward direction. And finally, Euro Pound. Again, this is just an indication of how weak the pound is, because the Euro Pound is actually positive from the 22nd here. Last week, it seemed to be turning around. So we broke through the 20 period, having run all the way down quite nicely. Thank you very much. We ran all the way down here to this floor here, and see how we put in a little bit of a tweezer. If we zoom that up, a tweezer bottom there. See how the wicks are more or less the same length, and we've gone down, and then we retrace. So that's a bit of a maybe we're going up. We did, then we dipped, and then that was the key entry as it broke the 20 period. Gold, Raymond will come. It's on the list. Don't worry. Somebody wants me to look at all the euro crosses, so I asked them to. Lakshay, I'm not sure what you mean. Pattern trading versus price action. This is how I trade, Lakshay. I use these daily time frames. I use moving averages particularly. I've got some other indicators on here, but this is my approach to trading. I'm not sure what you're asking. Any questions, Lakshay? Please, put them in the question box, or send me an email, and we'll talk about it offline. So here, 22nd, it broke up. A few days later, last week, Thursday, we broke over the 50 period. So this is looking fairly perky at the moment, but we've had quite a good run. Where's the top? Well, there's clearly going to be resistance around about here where this previous fractal high was. These other candles here, see the resistance there. We've bashed into that today already at 89.15. Top of the Bollinger Band is really going sideways at 89.35. And then beyond that was this top of this candle here back in September, which takes us to 89.75. So three clear steps there on euro pound, but it still remains relatively positive. Okay, so that's all the euro crosses. I can't remember who asked for that. More questions coming in here. What moving average periods do you use on your trading, sir? Can you explain it to us? Right, let's just have a look at this daily chart. Let's put this one up. Which one? Which one's got less number? This one. It's got less lines on it. Right, let me just go through this chart. This setup, there's lots of things on here, but the white lines, the three white lines are the Bollinger Bands. That's set at the default setting, 20 and 2, okay? All a Bollinger Band is measuring is volatility. It's distance from the norm. So the midline is the 20 period simple moving average, and that's my key trading parameter, the 20 period moving average on the daily time frame. The blue line on here is the 50 period moving average. I think it's the exponential. I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's simple or exponential, it just moves around a wee bit, but upon the daily time frame, it's not that much of a difference. And then the gold line, which actually isn't on here, it should be, insert indicators. It's a moving average, trend, moving average. Let's make it the 200, and I like it as a gold line. That's all. Is the higher time frame. There we go. So we've also broken through the 200 period. So the beauty of what I like about moving averages and always have is I simply keeps me on the right side of a trend. I'm a trend trader. I'm looking for changes in energy. Lakshay here saying he uses Bollinger Bands, stochastics, and RSI's indicators using feeble levels for take profit type. That's fine. The only question, am I doing it right? Well, there's a whole webinars on Fibonacci, Lakshay. Absolutely, it's all about. Come tomorrow, Lakshay, because it's all about trading the right time frame. All those things you've talked about, those indicators, any indicators, like we hear, I've got the RSI, I've got the ATR, and I've got the MACD, all at standard settings, 14, 14, and 12, 26, and 9, all for daily setups. But they're all just bits of information that come together. Some will be saying one thing, some might be saying the opposite sometimes. So all you need to do is have a system that works for you. And what works for me as a end of day trader with my own cash is looking for turns in the market. So this sort of level here, for instance, on here, would get my interest because we've moved all the way down. Are we turning on? Well, it looks like it. Okay. It would have probably triggered on my, I don't know when it did trigger on my system. Let me just check. Euro pound was long from the 15th of October. So I don't when this was. So my system at home, the system I trade with, I've actually triggered. I went long this day. So I'd have entered long here at 88.08 was the last long trade I took on euro pound, for instance. Went against me for 2 or 3 days, 1, 2, 3, and I was only in the money after the 4th day. And then on the 5th day, it confirmed through one of my key indicators, my mental indicators was the 200 period. Obviously, the risk was the 200 was just there, so it was going to struggle to get there, which it did for 2 days, and then it burst through it. And then the big heads up on Thursday, here on the 25th, was that we're now over the 20, the 200, and the 50. So we're off and running. So that's how I trade, Lakshay. How do you use the HotForex hand drawing tool on Metaphor, please, Hanya? Hanya, if you go, yeah, Hanya, hey, yeah, sorry. If you go to our past webinars site and look for the professional traders tools past webinars, Andrew did 2 or 3 really good webinars about how to use all the different features that are in the professional traders tool package. Okay, if you have any problems, email me or contact me again. Okay, so where was I? Euro pound, and I was answering some questions. All right, okay, as I've answered all your questions, moving averages, moving, yep. Okay, right, let's get rid of that one. So that was the Euro crosses. There's lots more to talk about. What time is it? It's already past. Gold, let's do gold next, because gold's been a funny one, but it's been very kind to me this year. But I'm not current. There's no current trades open for me on gold. So in my system. So here, again, this is a wee bit messy, but hopefully you can see what's happened here. We were actually, let me zoom out. Let me just recap. So we're in this big downtrend all year. The key date for me was the 15th of June. I won't bore you all with it, but anyway, we've been short, and then we went this sideways. We were going sideways. It looked like we were going to go short again as we broke out, and it didn't. It stopped me. That's the last trade I had was here, and we got stopped out at 12.07. But the big day here now in recent times has been the 11th of October when we burst out of this channel. So you can see here we were stuck in this channel. It couldn't break above here. See how these fractal highs give us this, and these fractal floors give us this floor here at 11.82, and the top was about 12.06, 12.07, 12.08, something like that. But it's a huge day here. The 11th of October, you get these days with gold. There's no obvious explanation for it, but you just see them happening, and it's happened mid-month, every month this since during most of this year. Actually, if you trend back, so this is long because we're now burst very, very strongly over the 20 period, over the 50 period, and it's a big, strong candle. With candles, size really matters. See how that has just consumed all of this sideways action on the 11th of October. Gold's finally broken out. And what I've been saying on the videos over the last few days, now I'm back in the office, is that the 12, for me, in the shorter time frames, the psychological 12.25, this level here. Let me just put that on this so you can see a bit better. It's disappeared. Has it gone? Here it is. Right, so let me just make that yellow so you can see it on the black. So yellow, this big yellow thick line, and the psychological 12.25, because it ends in a 5, big round number. We held close. So this level here, we stalled out when we first moved up, but now we're through it, and we've gone sideways through it, and now we head it, and now we're back through it. So today we're back through it. We've given up these levels. Interesting Fibonacci level on there. I'm not sure where that's from. Let's have a look. So this Fibonacci level is what? So this was the floor all the way down from 11.60. This is interesting. Here we go. So in fact, it's going all the way back here to April's top. So this is the high for the year to the low for the year, and that's a classic Fibonacci level there. We've retraced through 23 quite quickly, and we stalled at 38 at the moment. So 38 is here, 112.40 zone, and now we're dipping down through this shorter time frame. So clear 200 period there at 12.48 for gold. So in the shorter time frame, this key level now, this 12.25 becomes important, and the next Fibonacci level is here at this, just over this again, 12.10 level, back into this channel that we'd had for August and September and half of October before we burst out of it. So if we hold, we don't end up back in here, this is still looking relatively strong, but again, we got this, see how we got this strong here on the daily time, we've got this strong support here. We've got the psychological 1215, which is the top of the channel, all these previous fractal highs. It's also coinciding with the 20-period moving average and also the 50-period moving average. So this is a big, big psychological area now. So if this is going to drift down, it needs to hold this level if it's going to go back up. If it breaks through this level, this 1215 zone here, we could easily slip first down to 1205 in this Fibonacci level here at 1210, then 1205, and then perhaps retest the psychological 12. So gold's very much gold is very much still on the bid, but it looks it's weakened in the last couple of days. Papa, you've just joined us. We're talking about gold. This is the gold on the daily chart. It's been strong from this big huge candle we had on the 11th of October. It's had a rally up to 12.45 last week, and we've come back down Monday, Tuesday this week, and there's a key support level now here around this psychological 12.15 level and these two key moving averages down here. So that's where we are with gold up on the daily time frame. So gold, what was next? Pound, or some pound crosses, pound, dollar, pound against dollar, and pound against the euro. So let me have a look at the pound. There's two of those you've asked me to have a look at. Obviously, any other things you want me to have a look at, please stick them into the question box. Lakshay's saying, what's happened to EU? Is it going to give us a double bottom confirmation pullback? I don't know, Lakshay. Maybe, as I said, it's 1300 looming. Can you teach me your day weekly strategy? My email is Keller Lonsdale Candler. I'll drop you an email, Keller. If you want to watch the different strategies, there's different webinars. If you, depending on the time frames that you trade, Keller, if you're new, make sure you come tomorrow, because trading is a psychological business. I call it, you know, it's getting the right mindset or mind game. I call it. You've got to have your head in the right time frame, and you've got to trade the right time frame that fits you as a personality, or your personality and your psychology. All this stuff here about charts and indicators and candles, anybody can learn this over time. But knowing yourself is by far the most important thing. We'll talk about that more in more detail tomorrow. Okay, but I'll drop you an email after the webinar, Keller. Okay. So what was I talking about? Oil. Actually, while we got the commodities on, let me have a look at you. Somebody's asked me about US oil. So they're both oil crosses. So US oil is often called WTI, West Texas Intermediary. And again, it's another one that's been, we rallied all the way up to $76 at the end of September, beginning of October. And just like lots of other things, the stock markets in particular, it's had a very weak October. Some people keep the markets, you know, guys on Bloomberg and guys on CNBC on the commentators stuff I read saying it's been a very volatile October. Well, not really. It's just gone down. That's all. You know, it's been as a trend trader, I don't care whether it's going up or down, but you know, that's a very strong trend going down. So you jump on it and you stay on it till it stops, till it turns around. And oil is a good example. So we topped out here. The entry would have been the break of this 20 period here. I don't know when my system last went. My US oil system went short on the 8th of October. I don't know what date's this. This is the 11th. So it triggered short a few days earlier. This is the 11th when it actually went under the 20 period. But I'd got a heads up that it was looking to go short here on this day. Obviously in this top here. So that I'd have entered there on the 8th, and then it confirmed it strongly on the 11th. So lots of traders would have got in here on the big break of the 20 period, because it's not just broke it a little bit, it's broke it significantly. Yes, it stalled at the 50 period, but again, it went sideways for 1, 2, 3, 4 days, and then it broke the 50 period on the 17th, and then it's been down again, and it had a big sell-off on the 23rd again. But this time again, we've stalled, this time the more significant 200 period moving average. So here, as we go down, 20, 50, 200, the lower we get, the more significant the support becomes. So here we went sideways for 1, 2, 3, but it still looks like it's, you know, wants to go lower. Where's the next? If we look left, where's the next support? Well, it's this cluster sort of where we are now. So the next, it's $66, and then below that will be something there, which takes us to 65.30, and then I guess this is about 60, yeah, 64.85. This low we had in August. And which coincides with the June low as well. So we had a June low, August low, and we may be pushing for a new October low to give us a triple bottom there on the oil market, but who knows? So at the moment, that still remains weak. needs to break back over here somewhere, back over, back to $70 if this is going to tick back up, and everything else is saying relatively weak. RSI is 36 and drifting down. The MACD is under its 0 line and moving down. Histogram's getting big. So weak oil market. Those of you asked me to have a look at oil as well. So let's get to so that was US oil. Pound crosses, pound Oz and cable was the other two. Excuse me, British pound. Here we go. So again, you can see these are the 6 pound crossing. You see they're all down, 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 down. So it's a very simple trade. The pound is weak, sterling's weak against everybody, but the ones you want me to have a look at is cable. Looked like it was rallying at the beginning of October, and indeed it did rally, but it stalled at 132.70 at the 200 period, and then it turned around, and it's turned around quite aggressively. And again, it went short through the 20 period and the 50 period on that one day on the 18th of October. Pound 17th of October, I got a heads up. So this day here, my trigger was here on this day, but it doesn't matter. It's still short, and it's continued short. How aggressive that move has been. So it's a little bit too aggressive, some might argue. But RSI still a 32, so there's still some more weakness in it, but it's gone down very aggressively. We broke under that floor there. We broke under that floor there, and we rested a wee bit there. Here, these August lows, but where's the next rest? Well, the next rest was those 3 days there, wasn't it? Back in August again, back down here at 126.95, which happens to coincide with the daily S3, which isn't that far away now, is it? So 127 for cable is calling really, but I say the only upside you could argue is that this move down has been quite steep, and the angle of the fall is perhaps needs a bit of a retrace, but at the moment there's no sign of that happening, as you can see there. Trend line's doesn't want to stick, so it's that's pretty weak cable pair. And so anything positive about Brexit or weakness in the dollar will only move that one up, but 127 is calling for cable. Tayo, yes, you will get an email at the end of this recording. You will get a copy of it, and you can watch it at your leisure, young man, young lady. Princewell, I'm a baby trader. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's got to start somewhere. Currently taking course on babypips.com. Babypips is great, Princewell. Get as much out of it as possible as you can. I really desire to be a pro trader. I need guidance. Email is, I'll send you an email, Princewell. That's not a problem. But make sure you come tomorrow, because tomorrow is all about trading psychology, and trading is 90% psychological. Okay, it's a mind game. It's a mindset. You've got to get that correct first, and you've got continually working on it. This technical stuff you can learn, from Baby Pips, from me, from anywhere. But getting yourself right is again something I can help you with. But you've got to understand yourself first. Okay. What was the other one? Pound Aussie was the other one. Somebody asked me to have a look at. So again, another looked like it was ticking up at the beginning of October. So we ran up at the beginning of October. Another classic little tweezer top there. So it's more better example of it. See how the two candles, or the wicks on the two candles, are at the same height, looking like a pair of tweezers pointing up. So that is always suggesting that we've run out of steam, especially when we've had a white candle going up, and then it has to be, the left-hand side has to be a white candle for a tweezer top, right-hand side a down candle. So we started down here, we finished the confirmation here. So nice little high there at 118.18, big round number as well, 118.20 say, and then we've come down since then. So that was a short, ran down, stalled at the 20 period, but then we broke through the 20 period last week on the 22nd. MACD still positive at the moment, but you can see it's drifting down, and off we go, down again through the 50 period, down again. Bottom of the Bollinger Band and the 200 period are calling down here, or some sort of support zone at 178.50 zone. So that's the next key support level, 178.50. We're currently at 179.37, and a big down day in motion at the moment for pound. Also, but obviously we're far from over, so we're only at 1400 hours is still 10 hours of the day to go. So this candle is far from complete, but the trend remains to the downside, as you can clearly see from here. There we go. That's been running and running, and there we go. It's got weaker, weaker, and then it's got weaker again. So may be some sort of support there for pound Oz. So the story doesn't change there. Okay. What was that? Pound, cable, pound Oz. Right. Next one is Aussie yen, and then there was 2 US crosses. And then we have a look at some intraday. So if we've got some time left, we've got quarter of an hour yet. The other one was Aussie yen. This one's been a big, like with lots of the Aussies. Again, Aussie's been weak, weak, weak. Oh dearie me, look at this one. This is Aussie yen. It's got also, let me take all this off. This is a very messy object list. Should we tidy all this up? I think I should. It's just such a mess. But clearly, it's that's been weak again. That's been under its 20-period moving average, this pair, from the 4th of October. So we had a sideways action here before that, sort of through this level here, 82.10, this sort of zone here. See how we couldn't get over there, really. Then when we broke down, but again, it goes, it's gone side. It's one of those pairs, the Aussie yen, can go sideways quite a bit, but the downtrend is still very much intact. Although again, it was a steep fall. Then we've gone sideways, but the floor seems to be, it's an interesting one, seems to have found some sort of floor here. The big floor was there at 78.85, which has held, and the floor seems to be a bit, this particular move seems to be a bit high. So there's a clear support zone there between 79.20 and 78.85. So this 25 pip support zone, that's big fat support zone, taking us back to September here. And we've had a strong day today. So is this taking out? This is another good example of, you obviously got to wait till the day's over, because just like Friday looked like, a great big volatility in there, but the spike down, we put in this fractal low now. Obviously the day isn't over, but this is looking like it's trying to use this as a floor. So first indication of perhaps we're trying to turn up again. So Aussie yen, very much one to watch, and a floor put in there. Okay, so yeah, see what's happening there. But again, it could easily not end up there. It could end up down there. It could end up there. Got to wait till the day's over. What's the weekly telling us? Well, the weekly will still be, sorry, it's this one, isn't it? Not that one. The weekly's still weak, as you can see. Let's just go back to the daily. So again, it's looking potentially perky, but we'll see. So, but significant support here, 79.10 to 78.85. Swissy, yes, I'm going to come to Swissy now. Swissy and the yen was the other 2 US crosses you want to look at. So I don't want a new chart. I don't want a new chart at all. I want a new profile. So that was the Aussie yen remains weak, as a lot of the Aussie crosses do, except that one against the Aussie New Zealand, as we said earlier. New Zealand, sorry, US dollar. Right, okay, it's the main dollar crosses here. So Swissy was the first one somebody asked me about. So this remains long, and it's been long since the 27th of September, like we said on the chart there. Trade what you see, not what you think. But there we go, down, floor formed, fractal low peaked in, pivot point turned around, big old day, 27th of September. How many times have we said that today and in previous times? Big old day, engulfing all of his previous action, closed strongly through the 20 period, and right up, we stalled at the 50, but wouldn't is not a surprise. 200 period was coming across as well. We had a positive cross here where we've got the 50 coming from underneath the 200. That's a golden cross. That's positive in moving average terms. And remember, the moving average is a bit delayed, so it dipped down after, but it's rallied off since then. So we're now back. Again, we've been talking about this all year. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do that, didn't I? This psychological parity, the one level, which we're now back through today. Is that for the first time? I've just noticed that actually. Where are we? Let's just make sure that comes in it. Yeah, so it's a strong dollar against the Swiss. No, it was last week we went through it. So whilst I was, what are these all the time? So let me just see that. So this remains positive, and just like last time, it may not hold this parity level, but we're over it. We closed over it yesterday, and it's a significant move. But you know, most of the move has happened since then. So this has been long. This is another one of these. It's long. Dollar Swiss triggered long on the 27th of September, and it's been 22 days now above its 20-period moving average. And the 20s crossed the 200 and the 50. That's positive. It's kept going, and we're over this now. This psychological parity level is 100, which you could argue we've now got a triple top here, going back to May, June, October. So this could be, you know, short sellers might be looking at this as perhaps a significant move down if the dollar finally weakens. But at the moment, as a trend trader, it will, obviously nothing goes in a straight line forever, just like we went down and then we went back up and then we've gone further up. It's all there to trade. Okay, so sideways, action down, broke below the 20 period, we moved down, broke back over the 20, we moved back up. It's horrible. Well, it's V-shape, so we're over parity at the moment. So for now, remain strong. 22 days into this strong uptrend. With your analysis on cable and pound Oz, do we expect a downtrend just for today? We'll look at the intraday stuff for you, Raymond. If you remember, this is on the daily time frame. Aussie New Zealand, Raymond's asking for. Did we not look at Aussie New Zealand before? Let's have a look at Aussie New Zealand while we're here. I'll come to yen because somebody's asked me about yen before. So that remains positive. Dollar against the Swiss, dollar against the yen in the other way remains or had been negative. Let me just bring up the dollar yen. So dollar yen had been quite positive. We'd ran all the way to the 114.70 zone. We turned around. It went short here on the 10th of October. And then didn't really do very much. We didn't continue down. We ran into 50. It looked like it was going down, then we come back up, but we're trapped here at the moment. So, and yesterday, so as of Friday, when I put the spreadsheet together for you, it was still looking relatively negative because we're at a low. But yesterday and today, the dollar's turned around quite aggressively. So there are clearly dollar buyers out there and yen sellers. This is probably a combination of both things going on, because we're at month end. Okay, so it's month end, dollar buying, yen selling, combining to move these two candles up quite significantly. So there's clearly some support down here at the 111.80 support zone here for yen. Let me just put that through there. So this is 111, well, 111.75, call it 111.80 zone. That 5 pip zone there is clearly significant support. And if we finish today, as we are now, into the top half of the 112s, we're at 112.90 at the moment, zoom in. That's looking like that may want to break up parabolic. See how the little pips there, the parabolic SAR, that's what these dots are. They've flipped over. We've got a fractal low there below our support here, so that's looking relatively positive, this two candle pattern. So we could have another update today, tomorrow through the 113. Okay, that's dollar yen. Nedson's asking about the ZAR. Let me have a look at the ZAR while I've got it here. Profile. It's come back a bit, the rand, although it's had dollar's had a right old run early in the summer. We went all the way up here to 15, 17, come back down. We've been sideways, but again, looks relatively positive. The dollar's come back to life a bit as we were bumping around. We couldn't floor there, floor in there. So 14 became a triple bottom a bit there, or a bit higher, 14,100s probably. And we've ticked up. Big up day last week here. Let's zoom in a bit. Big positive update last week here. Rand dollar came back to life. Rand weakened again, and that's ticked off, and that's positive again. We'd like, you'd want to, this run will probably stall here where we were here through this, which is coinciding with R1 at 1481.85, which is also the top of these four candles, previous four candles here. break that level, next resistance is 14.94.50, and then the psychological 15. But dollar remains, looks like it's starting to be bid against the rand there. Okay, rand's had a fairly good run. What else? NZN, I'll look at pound intraday and euro New Zealand. So let's just go back to those pound ones. Intraday pound. So what did you ask me about? Cable intraday. So if we go down to the 1 hour chart, oops, actually this one. No, that remains weak, doesn't it? That's the 1 hour. That's you know, 4 hour is still down. 1, 2, 3, 4 candles down. The 1 hour just weak. Where's the stop? Well, who knows? That's weak and falling. The RSI's, you'd argue at 20 it's oversold, so it should have some sort of respite or recovery, but there's nothing at the moment saying that's going to turn around. So pound Oz remains weak. It looks overstretched from the MACD, but you know, nothing to say. Don't try and catch the bottom on that one. There's nothing to say. Floor that's 79.37. I don't know where that's come from. It must be a hardy time frame, or was it must have been a long trade, but that, you know, intraday that remains weak, as does what was the other one? Cable, yeah, cable intraday even weaker. You know, big move down here. It's the 1 hour chart. We'll bring up down the other charts as well, but that's weak, and has been all day. Cable for you there, NTIN. Okay, that was that. Right, is that everything? Yen, we've done yen, Swissy, and we've done Aussie yen. Okay, so there's no outstanding requests on my little list here as far as I can see. I'll send you those. If you ask me for an email, I will send you an email. Don't worry about that. Okay, so let's just have a quick look at what's going on intraday while we're here. So my intraday setup is this one here. Just fill, there's a lot going on. Tile windows. So here, if you're only going to trade like the 1 hour or the 4 hour time frames, you can't look at everything. This is a different setup. This is on these charts here. Let's do the euro. Here we've got the moving averages. The Bollinger Bands on this one are green again, so it's the same settings, 20 and 2. Now then, the moving average on this one are so we still got the 20 period moving average, the green one. It's the 5, this blue one here, the 5. And the 9 is the yellow one, and they're exponential moving averages. If you want to understand how this system works, look up the exponential or the intraday webinars and the exponential moving averages, and it's the crossing EMAs, I call it, and that's what this is given us. And you see here, this one, you know, again been under its 20 period. Here intraday since yesterday lunchtime, so we've been short, didn't want to close over it, under it, couldn't get over the green there, right into it, and then it's bash, so that's been short all that time there. That's euro, so remains a strong dollar as we go into this there. Somebody's asked for Swiss yen. I think we're not talking about Swiss yen. Let's have a look at Swiss yen then. Okay, Swiss yen up on the daily time frame. It's another one that's been in a long, like you see on the spreadsheet, it's been in a long, Swissy, where's the Swissy gone? Swiss franc. Swiss yen been in a long downtrend. So again, this has been short since the beginning of the month. It broke I must have had a trigger there on the 28th. It broke the 20 period short on the 2nd of October. It went under its 50 period here the 9th of October, and it's drifted down. It's gone sideways. It's broken out. I don't know what all those lines are on there. Let's get rid of some of those lines, horizontal lines. So it's so it's a 113 level. I think that's that big yellow line, which is coinciding with the 200 period. But then we support, broke it, and it was just sort of hanging around it there. And then it's here. It's finally, oops, not sure which way it was going, but remained weak. And then here on the 24th, last Wednesday, broke down, and into some sort of Fibonacci level from previous times. didn't seem that all the sellers were perhaps in there, big long wick, and we've had a tick up today, but that remains weak, and it needs to break over 113 Swiss yen if this is going to go back up. Whoever asked about it, I can't see your name on there, sorry. Olatalambuson, it's weak, remains weak because it's under its 200 period, and it's significantly under its 200 period as well. See the distance there. But interestingly, it's collapsed into this fib level. I wonder where that fib level's come from. Where is that coming from? It's there. Oh, it's a way old one. That doesn't make any sense anymore. Let's get rid of that. Sure what that was. But certainly, you know, big move down, maybe a bottom in here, if that is indeed the bottom. But we would have said that there, wouldn't we? That there and that there, but we've tipped down again, so it's too early. But as you can see, that support, next support is really there, which we spiked to, and then it's through that lot there, which is again where the actual fractal low is being put. The bottom of the coincides with these candles here and here, so it's a weak Swiss yen. Okay, Nedson, what's the significance of price breaking through the 50 period EMA? Well, it's like it breaking. If you're a moving average trader, it's quite significant. That's all I'm saying. That's one way or the other, whether you break up through it or down through it, it's significant. Just think about it. It means the last 50 periods, whatever time frame you're trading, that's the average price it's been, and we're actually below it. So for the last 50, the average price of the last 50 periods, whether it's days, hours, 4-hour blocks, whatever it is, it remains quite weak if it's under its 50th average. Okay, Raymond, I did Aussie New Zealand, but as you've asked again, I will do it again for you. Okay, it's the one Aussie cross that looked relatively positive. Aussie New Zealand, where is it? Here we are. So again, it's a bit of a mess, but it's actually, I'm saying positive, it's actually negative, isn't it? So the last time, I got this one the wrong way around as well. So let's change that so that last break under the 20 is in blue, so you probably can't see it there. It's yellow now. So this here, 15th of October, it broke lower. 16th, it broke under its 200 period. So here it's under its. So Nedson, just to answer your question here, it's a good example. So we've been going. This pair had been going sideways, hadn't it? It'd been bouncing around. It's the blue line's the 50, the white line's the 200. So moving averages in this situation here doesn't really help us because we haven't got a trend. We're not going down and we're not going up. So here you want to be looking at oscillators, not necessarily trending moving averages. So here it was up, but it was the top of the channel. What you can do with this one, which is what these blue lines are on here, is identify sideways action, channel trading. So here we broke into the moving average. We're in the lower half of the Bollinger Band here. We moved down from the 20 period through the 50. We stopped at the 200. We went back through the 50, stopped at the 20. Came back down through the 50, stopped at the 200. Through the 50, through the 20, stopped at the top of the Bollinger Band that time. So we're stretching, but look, that where we stopped here, where we are now, this is September. So there, the channel's starting to form there. So you could see, oh, look at that. So that became significant. So that break was an interesting one, which was last time we broke through the 20 period and the 50 period. Nedson, I hope you're watching this as well, because the next day was the big Yahoo, because we broke through the 200 and we broke significantly below the 200. It wasn't just underneath it, we broke all the way down here. So there was more action to the downside. People couldn't believe it. That's why we tried to take it back, but it couldn't. So that's another significant single candle with a great big tall wick there, shooting star. It's not really a shooting star because it's not the top of a move, but that's a big, no more buyers here. We want to go lower, and we did for 2 days. We've bounced back up, so we've been tracked and pulled back to the 200 period, which is pretty normal, but was also stuck, not stuffed. So Aussie New Zealand has strong resistance here, where we were yesterday, where we got to yesterday, and then it actually, we'll get rid of that. That's still open. Where we got to yesterday, the 20 and the 50, this zone here, and then it's bashed back down again. So we tried, and then it ended up down here. So again, this remains weak. We're under the 50, we're under the 20, and we're under the 200. So Aussie, New Zealand remains to the downside with some support here on the daily time frame at S1 at 107.90, and then S2 is the bottom, happens to be at the bottom of this candle as well, 107.60, 62. So weak Aussie, New Zealand. Raymond, I hope that answered your question. Right, I'm going to run out of steam in a minute. I need a drink. Any more assets? What time is it? No, we're over time. I thought I was over time. So thank you for your time today, guys. Let me just run through this. So tomorrow, it's all about mindset. If you're new, if you've traded before and you're trying to find a direction, come tomorrow, because it's all about psychology. It's all about mindset. Entin, just stick your question in. Don't ask a question. Just stick it in the question. On Thursday, Andrea and Nectarius will be talking about part 2 of the Elliott wave analysis. Andrea did it last month. An introduction to it last month. It gets a bit more technical on Thursday. Every Tuesday is these live analysis workshops. Okay. Price action on next the 7th. Fisher transform, which is fascinating, and the CCI on the 8th. Scalping with Heikin-Ashi candles, Heikin-Ashi candles, nice and clean, nice and simple. More about emotional control, 15th. Inflation, one of the key fundamental macro things is inflation. What is it? Why does it affect Forex? How does it affect Forex? Nectarius will explain that in for everybody. And then all about money management, 22nd. Whoops, where are we going? ADX and parabolic SAR, we touched on those today a wee bit. Andrea will explain those at the end of the month, and some trading the news on the 29th. Our South African seminars were very successful. Thank you those that came along with that was last week and the week before. If you got our app, please, have a look at it, use it, download it. It's very straightforward. It's got all the news, it's got all our analysis on it. Trading books, these are the 3 you should have as many trading books as you can afford. But this one, Reminiscences of a Stock Operator and Trading in the Zone, are probably the 2 best books that will give you some sort of help going forward. The Market Wizard series of books is all about interviews with super, effective traders with some real track records over many years, multi-billionaires, many of these guys, but they talk about the same thing, or I talk about what they talk about when I first read these books, 20 odd years ago. It's all about, I'll talk about it more tomorrow. It's all about risk management, accepting losing, getting out of losing trades quickly, have a stop loss, have a take profit, all that sort of stuff, which we talk about in more detail tomorrow. So join me tomorrow on that. Etienne's asking, please can you send me an email explaining 20, 50 and 200 moving averages? I can, but watch one of our webinars on how to use moving averages, because they're very, very simple. They're one of the most simple and most effective of all indicators, because they just keep you on the right side of the trend. Are you above or below the 20 period moving average? That's one of the first questions I asked myself 20 odd years ago when I first started, and that question still runs through my system. Lots of good books. If you're completely new to Forex trading, have a look at Anna Cooling's Forex for Beginners book. That's a really good book as well. Very simple to understand, very well written as well. And she has her own website as well with her husband, David. Anyway, thank you very much. Please email me at webinars@hotforex.com. Those of you that asked for an email, I will get back to you today. Friend me at Facebook. It's Stuart HotForex Cowell. Lots of stuff gets put up on there as well. Obviously, all our analysis, all the stuff we write and all the videos we produce are all on our webpage, our analysis webpage on the hotforex.com site. So look for analysis.hotforex.com, and all the stuff we write and all the videos we produce is all up there as well. Okay, so thank you for your time. I hope to see you all tomorrow, and take care.